Peace. Dolla50. Told G what it is. The hip hop headquarters. I got that rare gem Egyptian jewelry. You know what I mean? Peace. Dolla50. I don't got no rare gem Egyptian jewelry on. You know what I mean? I'm just doing me right now. When I won that channel card argument, you know what I'm saying? That did it for me. You know what I mean? Like I just came out with the flag, with the YouTube, with the atomic time clock, with the microphone in front of me right there. I just came out like that. Like, you know what I mean? This gonna be my new thumbnail. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just do it like this the whole time. Like, I'm gonna be like in front of the mic, like, yo, I won the joint, you know what I mean? They tried to play me, you know what I mean? I got it off. The most notorious transaction in the joint. You know what I mean? The joint cost 900, but you know what I mean? The point I'm making is it's not the monetary measurement. You know what I mean? It's the content of character being maintained with the vaccine distribution, with the stimulus check updates. You know, with the consistency. You know what I mean? You gotta acknowledge the presence of a higher understanding. You know what I mean? You gotta recognize the difference between a regular channel call and a collector's edition. Like there's a difference between the content of the information that's present. They trying to make it seem like it's just your ordinary transaction when the transaction is like self-explanatory. Like when I go into depth to, how the person, was deceiving me into believing that he was going to do business with the videos. The videos was good as long as the money's coming in. You know what I mean? He did something like that, like fraud. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna call it like that. It's fraud by deception. It's like you deceiving somebody to commit fraud. You know what I mean? And using your business to do it. When he did that, he left me under the gun of having to prove that I was there for real business. He left me under the gun. So I was like, you ain't no way you're gonna leave me under the gun. I'm not trying to leave you under the gun, but you know what I mean? Somebody gotta come out on top. You know what I'm saying? So when I got the victory, I threw my flag up, threw my YouTube joints up, you know what I mean? Got my hat on. I could take off my spectacles for a minute. But when it's time to make a comment or something, yo, keep in mind, when I got prescription joints, it was based primarily on where I am. You know, where I am, this location was established in 1963. 1965, correction. 1963 is the SVJ 63. That's the night. That's when that began production. But saying that to say, my point is the extremes of what was going on then, currently, and not wearing glasses and wearing glasses, being indoors in this situation is harsh on my eyesight. My eyesight has to be corrected all the time because Martin Luther King was assassinated, Malcolm X was assassinated, all the hip hop artists that died along throughout this experience. I'm not going to say Puffy's to blame, but Puffy's next. He's going to be the one that I target next. It won't be that used car dealership that got the $1 million cars. It won't be them. It's just going to be Puffy because I went to Puffy with We Legal. We Legal at Amazon right now. You can cop We Legal. See what the content of We Legal was at the time of me introducing We Legal to Puffy. Now, the way I introduced We Legal to Puffy, this is a good one. I'm one of them granddads that be like, now I'm gonna tell you a story. This one about Puffy. He was a producer from in the R&B and the hip hop world where the bridge between R&B and hip hop never before existed. Now, mind you, I don't do no R&B at no time. When you see me do R&B to the extent of promoting my music, it's within reason of arguing a point along the way. You know what I mean? 1,000 roses, such would astound you. The joy of children laughing around you. These are the makings of you. I was born on August 29th, 1968, as TLC, Terrence Lamont Collins, with the hopes and dreams of someday being great, riding my bike all day, sneaking on and off the New York City subways. Yo, it was crazy when I came out the gate like that, because they was like, he sounds so good, R&B. I was like, I'm not doing R&B. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. You gotta read between the lines. Like, you know what I mean? I'm straight gangster on that track. You know what I'm saying? Straight gangster on We Legal. So when I came out the gate like that, it was like, but R&B, no. R&B, more R&B, and the artist was all bugging out, like they was entranced by what I was looking like, you know what I mean? And I was like, yo, I can't do R&B like that. The pointy shoes, the shiny shirts, the church services, all that. I'm just not doing all that, you know what I mean? So they was like, well, you know what I mean? I'm gonna still keep walking. I'm not gonna give up, you know what I mean? That's crazy. I was like, yo, the district. Yo, hip hop, where the hammer at? You know what I mean? Yo, get the hammer. Got some stalker joint playing, you know what I mean? Get the hammer, bust the joint in the head, you know what I mean? Yo, it's crazy. So I'm gonna get Puffy, because Puffy took We Legal, you know what I mean, and cradled We Legal, you know what I mean, at the gate, you know what I mean? When I went to Puffy, I didn't even know Puffy. I know they went through the Tupac Biggie thing. I know he went through that. I know he went through, challenges along the way. I know that, you know what I mean? But I said I was gonna get at him because he cradled We Legal, you know what I mean, in the door, you know what I mean, coming, and then when he looked at it, it looked like a brand new car, you know what I mean? He looked at it, I said, yo, just give me a 650, and we started off like that. And it's gonna be a 3D type experience, and everything gonna seem like it's coming at you. So he was like, I don't do cars, We Legal. You know what I mean? He didn't say nothing to me at no time. I'm talking to the clerks and the receptionists and all that. Because he was set up like saying, come over here. You know what I mean? That's how he was set up. Like, just come over here, bring your business over here. So I was like, I can't mess with Puffy because, you know what I mean? He just, that the Biggie thing just happened. You know what I mean? I was like, I can't mess with Puffy. But I'm doing safety this, safety that. And you know what I mean? I was just in the World Trade Center situation where I got pulled over in a traffic stop and they said it was yellow light was a red light. And I know it was yellow because I wouldn't have turned on a red light. So I was driving a Range Rover. So check it, the Range Rover got impounded. They arrested me for having a gun. You know what I mean? It was a gun in the car. That's standard. You're gonna have a hammer. You know what I mean? You're gonna have a hammer, and and if you got a gun, you know what I'm saying? It's not mine. It's somebody else's because I didn't have it. You know what I mean? I told you I didn't want you to search the car. What gun? You know what I mean? It's parameters to what I'm saying. So check it. Arrested me ultimately, and the World Trade Center was attacked as a direct reflection of that time frame. So check it. I'm on some Puffy frequency because I took my information to Puffy, right? And I'm going through all these redirections and all that. And the whole time I'm like, now I don't recall if the World Trade Center was attacked before the album or after the album. All I know is when I went through that 911 experience, it was like I got pulled over for a yellow light. The World Trade Center was attacked. I was within the confines of Newark, New Jersey, and I took my Timberland boot off. I never forget it. The same Timberland boot when they grabbed me here and took me to a psychiatric hospital, a psychiatric ward. Wasn't a psychiatric hospital, psychiatric ward. I took my Timberland boot off that I ran out of there, and I won't say I broke out of there because you ain't really breaking out of no. You know what I mean? They grab you up anywhere you at, and you break out, you leave one of the hospitals. So check it. I left out of there, and I bought some Timberlands. I had like 3 G's on me. So I had 3 G's on me, and I went to Foot Locker. I I gave somebody a couple dollars to get me a room. I didn't have no shoes on, and you know what I mean. I gave somebody a couple dollars to get my room. It was nighttime. I was running through Richmond with no shoes on because I just left the mental hospital, and you know they grabbed me in traffic. Crazy, right? Crazy. They grabbed me in traffic. This is how I hopped off. But they diagnosed me as not being mentally insane. They diagnosed me as being sane, but they wouldn't let me go. They still was holding me when they grabbed me. They held me and they wouldn't let me go. So then I ran. You know what I mean? When I ran, I didn't have no shoes. I left my shoes and I had like 3 G's in my pocket. They never took my money. So listen, I ultimately went to the hotel, which wasn't close by. I had to run through rocks and all that with no shoes on. I had to hide a little bit. You know what I mean? So what happened was I gave somebody some money to get me a room, pay for my room. Told them, you know what I mean, I got stopped in traffic, and you know what I mean, it went a certain way, you know what I mean. So they got my room. Then the next day, the room service female, she was like, she'll go to Foot Locker and get them because I asked her to get me some shoes from Foot Locker. I never said nothing about it because you know what I'm saying. It's always some secret part of what's going on being real that I never really say what's going on. So you know, she went to Foot Locker. I gave her like 200 or 300, and she got me the Timbs. I told her to get the gray Timbs. So she got the gray Timbs, right? And then the reason I brought the gray Timbs up is where I got them from was that far off. And then when I got pulled over in New Jersey, it was that far off, the World Trade Center attack. So when I was in the confines of that facility, they didn't want to let me go, right? And there was a TV broadcasting like some sex videos, but it was like staticky. It was static on the TV with sex videos. And the World Trade Center was attacked and all that. And I took my Timberland boot and said, boom! You know what I mean? It was like, why you do that? Why you do that? Like, I ain't do it. So they grabbed me, you know what I mean, dragged me out of there. The fire sprinkler went off, you know what I mean? Afterwards or before, I don't remember what happened. The fire sprinkler went off, you know what I'm saying? And they was like, you know what I mean? They grabbed me and took me somewhere else. And so I'm saying that to say, you know what I mean, when I went through the World Trade Center experience, I activated, I'm not even gonna say because you know what I'm saying? I activated a sequence that has to be followed. It has to be followed. This sequence has to be followed. It can't be redirected or stolen or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? The boots from the hotel, from there, and then the same boot. You know what I mean? The sequence is real. The chain of events is too real to go another way. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a pandemic. You got to go the same way that I went because I'm driving a Range Rover. The Range Rover has to be accounted for. Everything is butter. You know what I mean? I'm dealing with Land Rover directly. You know what I mean? When I'm dealing with Land Rover directly, you're not going to redirect me in nowhere in time. In history, you won't redirect me. So listen, I'm going to put my spectacle joints on, and it's almost that time, right? You know what I mean? I just moving through the mainstream. So it's almost that time. Check out my new thumbnail, you know what I'm saying? Check out the time. You know, I'm going for mine. And Puffy, back to Puffy. Those extremes were present around the same time, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like going to him like every track. You know what I mean? Like every track. Well, the World Trade Center happened first. And then I went to Puffy after I had some music put together. I went to Puffy and I would go to him. I'll go to the studio. I'd never been to a studio. Once I found a studio and wasn't doing music at no time, I was like, yo, I went to the studio, recorded, went to Times Square. I went to the studio, recorded, went to Times Square, like one track at a time. So the way I did an album, the way I did We Legal was 1 track, 2 tracks, 3 tracks, all going to Puffy, right? Now Puffy, he not saying that the whole time, but he told me to come over there like this how he told me to come over there. He got to be accountable for telling me to come over there. I'm not making it up. You know what I mean? He got to show up for it. So now he in Florida, right? I do Florida a little bit. So check it. I did it like mad times before I got the album. And then I was like, I'm not going to do no more. I'm going to let that be an album. And, we're going to push the album. So he still never talked to me. The whole time he never talked to me. I was like, yo, what's up with Puffy not saying nothing all this time? And I'm on album status right now. I'm not going past having an album. My information speaks for itself. Yo, I close with saying peace. Dolla50.